Now, an investigation has revealed that one sperm donor with a gene that causes cancer in children has fathered around 200 offspring. A fertility clinic in Denmark sold the sperm to women across the world. This case is now raising questions about industry regulations. DW teamed up with 13 European broadcasters from the EBU Investigative Journalism Network to find out more.
We are in Paris. A mother who conceived a child through artificial insemination has agreed to talk to us. Her daughter inherited a rare cancer mutation from the sperm donor.
I feel enormous guilt to know that because you chose to conceive that way, you have passed on something that is potentially a threat to her life. It's very hard.
Her Belgian fertility clinic used sperm imported from Denmark, sold by the globally operating European Sperm Bank. The Sperm Bank listed the donor under the number 7069 or Kjeld and offered his sperm for more than 15 years. In 2023, however, a genetic test showed that he carried the life-threatening TP53 mutation. It dramatically increases the risk of childhood cancer. Donor 7069 was permanently blocked. At this stage, the Sperm Bank was obliged to alert every fertility clinic that had received the donor sperm. Then the clinic had to inform parents immediately, because children needed to be tested to see if they had inherited the rare mutation.
It's very important that children get the right checkups and that parents are informed about which cancer risks exist and how they should respond. We have programs that can be truly life-saving.
In Celine's case, the clinic only informed her more than 1.5 years after the donor was blocked and blamed a computer problem for taking so long. Tests confirmed that her teenage daughter was a carrier.
It was a shock. It's just not possible that there could be such a level of amateurism, incompetence and recklessness in an area as important as reproduction. It's incomprehensible to me.
When confronted, the clinic answered that it had informed Celine as soon as possible. Dorte Kellermann, a mother who lives in Denmark, says she was never officially notified by her clinic. For years she has been connected via Facebook with other parents whose children were conceived with sperm from donor 7069.
I was informed from another mother with the same donor to her children. I was not informed by the Sperm Bank nor the clinic.
Never?
Never.
According to Danish health authorities, Kjeld's sperm was exported from Denmark to 13 other countries, all with their own limits and regulations. Despite several requests, the European Sperm Bank, a major player in the fertility sector, refused to provide the exact number of Kjeld's offspring, citing privacy concerns. But DW and its partners collected documents from health authorities, talked to doctors, patients and clinics across Europe, and found that at least 197 children were conceived with Kjeld sperm. Experts that counsel affected families assume that not everyone has been alerted yet.
It feels very risky and completely wrong that one donor can have so many children. It is far beyond what's biologically normal, and that has huge consequences.
We have some children that have developed already 2 different cancers, and some of them have already died.
The European Sperm Bank declined an interview, but wrote they had tested the donor in full compliance with recognized and scientific practice and legislation, and notified authorities and clinics in accordance with the law. Doctors, support groups and sperm banks are now calling for an international donor registry and a global cap on the number of children one donor can father. They warn, without stronger rules and clearer responsibilities, cases like that of donor 7069 could happen again and again.
right, for more on this, we're joined now by Naomi Conrad from DW's investigative team. Good to see you, Naomi. We just heard there in that report the suggestion that this kind of situation could happen again. Quite frankly, how could this happen at all, Naomi? I mean, isn't there a cap, first of all, on the number of children that each donor can father?
Well, some countries have national caps. Countries like Germany don't. We only have a voluntary cap in Germany, but there's no European cap, let alone international cap. So in theory, sperm banks could continue to sell sperm across the globe with no cap. And that's why all these organisations and doctors are calling for a global cap.
So that needs to be tightened up for starters. But what about the fact that this sperm donor passed on this rare genetic mutation to some of these children? I mean, surely there should be a system in place to stop that from happening, even if there isn't a cap on the number of children.
Right, and sperm is tested. It undergoes quite a rigorous testing. The problem in this case was that when he first started donating, there was no test to detect this kind of mutation. And also, I mean, this is what the sperm banks say, that it's just too expensive to test the sperm for every kind of mutation there isn't. There are loads of mutations. So, but they do offer more testing for an extra fee. So if you want to fork out more money, you can get your sperm tested. You can also have it matched with your own genes. So a lot is possible, but they maintain it's just too expensive. And in this case, the donor didn't carry the disease. Like, there was no sign he was healthy. So there was no reason why they should have assumed that he was carrying this rare and potentially life-threatening mutation.
So he was healthy, but he was carrying this gene. Given the number of gaps in the system that you're describing, I mean, is this an isolated incident?
It's not. We know it's not. And we know that other donors have been blocked and that some of them have also been blocked because of overselling in various countries. The problem is also that there's so much fertility tourism because people travel to one country where maybe there's a procedure that's illegal in their country. For example, in Germany, you're not allowed to have egg donations. So German patients travel, say, to Spain or to other countries. So it's incredibly difficult to trace these patients at time, and that's why people keep on calling for a donor registry.
Let's talk about the massive communication failure here. If I imagine that as a parent, I don't know about something like this related to my own child. I mean, some of these parents were saying they were never informed that their children might be carrying this life-threatening mutation. How can that happen?
Right, and also maybe just to be clear, that's why we are publishing his donor number, so that people who conceive children with the help of sperm from the European Sperm Bank know that their children are possibly not affected, right? So we do not want to create panic. We just want to inform people about this case. It's very difficult. We don't know for each case, but we know of at least 2 clinics that went bankrupt and were closed, and in that case, it seems like patient information was lost. We know of some cases of patients who travelled to Denmark whose addresses seem to have got lost, who don't seem to have been contacted. So it's very difficult at this point to know in every single case who's at fault. There are ongoing investigations, so the Belgian authorities have started looking into this case. We know that the Danish authorities are investigating the sperm bank. They say it's not about this case, but won't give us any more information. So I think at this point it's up to courts to decide who's at fault and who's to blame for all of this.
DW's Naomi Conrad. Naomi, thank you so much for bringing us up to date